Sheila madam.
Sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. All others
It's
are
honor to
muted.
host this providential program of today's webinar on wavelet transformation approach for MIMO power line communication. I am Sheila S., Assistant Professor, Department of Telecommunication. Heartily welcome each one of you. I welcome our management, Shri B. Bailappa sir, President, Vynamic Education Trust, Bangalore, Shri B.P. Manjunath, Vice President, Vynamic Education Trust, Bangalore, Shri Raghav Bailappa, Secretary, Vynamic Education Trust, Bangalore. I welcome Dr. Nataraj K.R., Dean and Director, Department of R&D, Don Bosco Institute of Technology. I heartily welcome Dr. Hemadri Naidu T., Principal, Don Bosco Institute of Technology, Bangalore. I welcome Professor Jasmal Singh, Chairman, Institute of Engineers, IEI, and Professor M. Nagraj, Secretary, Institute of Engineers. I heartily welcome today's speaker, Dr. Lokesh, Assistant Professor, Department of Electricals and Electronic Engineering, Vidyavartaka College of Engineering, Mysore. Sir is currently working as assistant professor in Vidyavartaka College of Engineering, Mysore. He has total 11 years of experience in academic and industry. His area of research includes low power analysis and communication system, electrical and electronic system, MIMO performance analysis of power line communication. Sir got doctorate in the stream of electrical and electronic engineering science from Vishweshwara Technological University. Sir has published around 18 research articles in various journal and conference. I welcome all HOD staffs, my dear colleagues, and all participants of today's session once again. Now I request our principal, Dr. Hemadri Naidu T., to address the gathering.
Good morning. Good morning, Sheila madam. Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Audible, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Very good morning, all of you. I welcome Dr. Lokesh C.
Thank you, sir.
on the board,
Thank you, sir.
Assistant Professor from Department of Electrical Engineering, Vidyavartaka College of Engineering, Mysore. I extend my sincere thanks to the management for allowing us to conduct this type of webinars in order to enhance the knowledge and skills for student friends as well as teaching fraternity. Once again, I extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Lokesh for your valuable time, and thank you, sir, for your acceptance and your patience in sharing your expertise to our student friends and teaching fraternity. So we at Don Bosco Institute of Technology, and I thank the Department of R&D for putting the efforts in organizing the events continuously. And today's webinar is on wavelet transformation approach for MIMO power line communication. Definitely, I hope your expertise will increase or enhance the skills for the participants. I welcome all the participants on board. And now it's the time for everyone to change the mindset in adopting the digital technology or digital interventions. So as a student, as a teacher, now we need to change our way of or mode of teaching or communication. So I think by connecting this type of webinars through digital media, so everyone will get adopted or addicted to this. So I think that makes us to improve our efficiency and to enhance the skills. We at DBIT having our DBIT is located adjacent to Mysore Road, Kumbalgodu, and we have 35 acres of campus, very clean and green campus. We have 840 intake in UG courses. We are giving UG courses in 7 disciplines. We have one PG course, that is MBA, and I'm very happy to announce this time we are going to start a new course in artificial intelligence and machine learning, and we have a student strength approximately 3,500. We have hostel facility inside the campus for both boys and girls, having 1,000 capacity, and I'm very happy to inform that our institute has gone for 2 times NBA accreditation, 2 times renewal. So from past 10 years, our institute has been accredited to NBA, and NAC also we got accredited, and it is valid up to 2022. And we have more than 150 teaching staff and more than 225 non-teaching staff, and we have 6 R&D centers, and every year we are having intake of 840. And I'm very happy to announce that more than 90% of the placements that is happening to our students who are eligible from exclusive training and placement department from DBIT, and we encourage the students in participating almost all extracurricular activities. And I'm happy to inform that one of our students got selected 21 and participated at university level, state level, and national levels, and they got gold and silver medals. And we have transportation facility from all corners of Bangalore. And now our campus is open, so anyone interested to refer to block the seats in engineering, we have in different fields like mechanical, civil, electrical, computer science, information science, as well as electronics, along with this artificial intelligence and machine learning. So if any parent or student, if they want to visit our campus for free, maybe counseling or maybe for career guidance counseling, so definitely we are here to support them. So please refer for any admissions. So our campus is open from morning 8 o'clock to evening 6 o'clock. Thank you all. Once again, I welcome all, and I wish happy learning. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thanks for your patience attention. Thank you, sir. Once again, I thank Professor Lokesh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shall I start, ma'am?
Yes, sir, please.
Yes,
Please,
sir.
over to Dr. Lokesh.
Thank you,
Thank
sir. So, good morning, respected all. I'm Lokesh from Vidyartha College of Engineering, Mysuru. It gives me an immense privilege to present my topic in front of you all. I'll present the presentation. I'll share the presentation. Okay, ma'am, can you see my screen, ma'am? Sheila, ma'am? Ma'am, can you see my screen, madam? Sheila, ma'am? Okay. So I'm Dr. Lokesh, working as assistant professor from the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, Vidyartha College of Engineering, Mysuru. It's an autonomous institution from the next year, 2020, and accredited by NAC with the A grade and National Board of Accreditation. Now, I'm very much privileged to present my topic, that is wavelet transformation approach for MIMO power line communication system design. I would like to start my presentation with the quote, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. As salutations to all my beloved Gurus. So the outline of my presentation is like this. First, I'd like to emphasize on the introduction part. Then I'll be discussing regarding method to improve communication quality and the capacity. What are the different approaches through which we could be able to improve the communication quality and the capacity. Next is regarding governing body for the communication system. Whenever we design any of the system, we need to abide by some of the parameters. We'll be having the upper and the lower limits that is been given by the suitable governing bodies. So in the third topic, we are going to discuss about the governing bodies for the communication system. The next is regarding existing technologies in the power line communication. What are the different technologies that are available in these days in the field of power line communication? In the next topics, I'm going to discuss regarding how exactly we can able to design multiple input, multiple output system with the help of wavelet transformation. I'm going to discuss regarding some of the fundamentals of wavelet transformation, how exactly we can design a multiple input, multiple output OFDM system with the help of wavelet transformation. That is the core of my topic. So next, I'm going to discuss regarding the PAPR, so one of the measuring parameter with which we could able to analyze the efficiency of the transmission. And that is one analysis parameter. So now this is regarding the outline of my presentation. So with respect to the introduction, in the recent year, especially from the year of 2010, I'm taking 2010 as the base year because that is the year in which the governing body, that is BSNL, has given the various regulations. So in order to maintain the parameters of communication system. So in the recent year, the high scope is given for the high data transmission and restrictions over the RF frequency. So we are very much focused on how exactly we could able to achieve the high data speed transmission. And so meanwhile, we need to consider the restriction over the RF signals. If you are increasing the data rate, means ultimately the frequency will be increasing. So correspondingly, we should take the consideration of RF signals also. Therefore, both must be in hands on hands to have the high data rate transmission. So whereas in the wireless communication system, we are speaking regarding power line communication. It's one of the best example of wireless communication system. The challenge is to have more number of subcarrier signals. If, for example, the basic idea here is, so whenever we start to transmit the data, so whenever we start to transmit the data, so this data is been enveloped. This data is been enveloped by n number of subcarrier signals. Okay, these carrier signal will act like the carrier signals which creates as the envelope. This is the data that is to be transmitted. Around this, we'll be having the n number of subcarrier signals. It says higher the number of subcarrier signals, better will be the efficiency of the transmission. It avoids the interference of any external unwanted signals, so that we can ensure quality of the service. The quality of the service basically refers to so quality of the service basically refers to the efficiency of the transmission. And again, so bit error rates and the signal to noise ratio are the two important factors we need to consider in order to ensure the efficiency. So next, a multiple input, multiple output system, especially the wireless communication system, is been implemented with the orthogonal frequency division multiplexing, which is popularly known as the OFDM. Therefore, this is the recent technology that has been developed from 2010. So this is regarding the introduction part. Next, we'll be having modulation and demodulation of OFDM. Again, so whatever the block that we are showing here is the conventional OFDM system. That means we'll be having the data that's to be transmitted that is being given to serial to parallel converter. That means one signal is been converted into number of constellations. Then those signals will be given as the input to the signal mapper, in which each of the signal is been mapped with a suitable frequency, because each of the signal has to be transmitted with the specific frequency before we can ensure the efficiency of the transmission. Then the signals have been given to IFFT, in which the convolution of the signal is been made with a suitable carrier signal. That means multiplication of the signal is done with the suitable carrier signal. Then we could able to transmit the signal. Then signal is been converted into a serial data. So therefore, we are converting signal into equivalent electrical signal, that is electromagnetic wave. Then we could able to transmit it through the suitable communication channel of the media. So this is regarding the transmitter part, and on the receiver part, we are having the exactly opposite process. Means whatever the serial data that we have received will be converted into parallel signals. That means a single information is being converted into n number of constellations. Then FFT will be done. That means exactly opposite to this. Hello? Okay, okay. Okay, okay. 1 minute, please. So FFT algorithm will be there. With the help of FFT algorithm, so that we could able to convert, we can take out the carrier signals, because whatever the signal that is been transmitting will be having the signal along with the carrier signal. So with the help of FFT, we could able to take out the carrier signal. Then those signals are given for the symbol mapper. That means the corresponding frequency domain is being converted into time domain. Then all those constellations are being converted into a single data. That means this is the transmitter part and this is the receiver part. So next is regarding PAPR. So PAPR is the one which stands for peak to average power ratio. This is one particular factor which mainly influences or the analysis of the power. So once we analyze the concept of PAPR, it's just like the analysis of bit error rates, signal to noise ratios, inter-symbol interference, and inter-carrier interference. So if you analyze PAPR, it's just like the analysis of bit error rates, signal to noise ratios, inter-symbol interference, and inter-carrier interference. Lower the value of PAPR, the better will be the value of these few parameters. Whereas once we design any communication system with respect to OFDM, it always suffers from the maximum PAPR. Therefore, our main challenge is to reduce the PAPR. So that can be done with the help of implementation of OFDM system with the help of wavelet transformation method. So the reason for having higher value of the PAPR is to making use of analog to digital converter and digital to analog converter, where these are the two important components with which we could able to design a MIMO UFDM system, because these are the essential components to design the filters. These are the essential components to design the filters. Without filters, we cannot able to design any of the communication system. Therefore, by having analog to digital converter and digital to analog converter, we should design the communication system, or we should design the filter circuit. Therefore, to reduce the gain of the filter circuit, we need to make use of a wavelet transformation. That is what the core of the topic is. Next is regarding introduction with respect to wavelet transformation. As we know that wavelet transformation is the booming technology in these days, which is mainly used for example, we take the example of electronics, means it is used for image processing, voice processing, signal processing. If you consider electrical science, we make use of analysis of harmonics, distortions, point analysis with respect to wavelet transformation. If you take the example of mechanical science, we analyze heat and mass transfer, vibration, force, acceleration, in which wavelet transformation is applicable for various platforms. In which it involves a simple logic. That means, as we can observe over here, wavelet transformation is the one which will be having a square shaped function. It is the one which is having a square shaped function. Then within this function, the signal that's to be transmitted, is made to flow through. Now, what the technique that is involved here is, the signal which is going, beyond this range is made to pass through the low pass filter. So basically, we identify the signal which is going beyond this describing function. So those signals are being made to pass through the low pass filter. Therefore, we could be able to minimize its intensity. For example, if some of the signal is flowing like this, if some of the signal is passing like this, means therefore these signals having a lower intensity. Under such a case, we can make the transmission of the signal through the high pass filters. We could be able to transmit the signal through the high pass filters. Therefore, we can increase its intensity. Okay, basically, it's a transmission of the signal through various medium, and so making the suitable transmission of the signal through suitable filters. So that is what. So basically, it consisting of a 2 to the power of n number of symbols, and so once we get on the receiver side, we'll be getting 2 to the power of n minus 1 number of symbols. That means this wavelet transformation is being taken out. That is why we'll be having the term -1. So this one stands for the wavelet symbol. So in which the most common and the fundamental type of wavelet transformation method is the Haar wavelet. So Haar is basically a mathematician who proposed this concept of wavelet transformation. So next is regarding turbo Haar discrete wavelet transformations. So basically, it's the extension version of the wavelet transformation, in which we'll be having the signal that's to be transmitted. And those signals are being divided into number of segments. Then we need to make to pass through the wavelet transformation module. Different wavelet transformation module will be there. So if all the signals for which amplitude is more, they need to pass through the low pass filter. Will be passing through the low pass filter, and part of the signal for which amplitude is more, they need to pass through the high pass filter. Then at the end, we are going to summarize all those things. All the signals have been added to get the actual signal, that is yes. The only thing is, we are splitting the signal. And depending upon its magnitude, we are going to pass it through the suitable filters, whether it's a high pass filter or the low pass filter. Basically, at the end of this, the signal will be a normalized signal. Then after that, once the signal has been normalized, therefore we are going to add all the signals to get the actual signal. So that is what the concept of turbo Haar discrete Fourier transformation, in which the turbo Haar discrete Fourier transformation is the upliftment of the basic Fourier transformation. So that is what here you can say. So the main implementation of turbo Haar discrete Fourier transformation is to reduce the inter-symbol interference. Okay, we make use of uplink and the downlink. So uplink stands for the transmitter and downlink stands for the receiver part. So in both the sides, we are going to add the concept of Haar discrete Fourier transformations. So next, as I told, so next topic is regarding the governing bodies for the communication system. That means whenever we design any of the system, we must be having suitable validation. We must be having suitable validation. For that, we need to go for the governing body. So we need to go for the governing body. Therefore, for Indian communication system, the governing body is the BSNL, because they are the one who are going to give the regulations and all to maintain the parameter values. So BSNL, that is Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. So in the year of 2013, they have given the regulation. So whatever the system that we design has to be abide by the various regulations that is given by the Regulatory Act. Okay. Whether it may be a signal to noise ratios, bit error rates, signal to noise ratio, that means inter-symbol interference, whatever it is, all these factors are to be given by the has to be within the guidelines given by the regulatory authority. And next one is the same authority is been revised one more act during the year of 2017, and this is the moment in which the communication system is been implemented with respect to Fourier transformation method. Okay. Therefore, BSN is one of the governing body which gives us to the regulation. Next, one more regulating body is the Texas Instruments. Texas Instruments are basically the service provider for the BSNL. Whatever the technical specifications will be given by the Texas Instruments. So BSNL is the one which gives us to the regulations, and Texas Instruments are the one which gives us to the technical specification. Fine. So now these are the two governing bodies which have the control over the communication system. Now we can see a lot of communication medium, that is Airtel, Vodafone, all those things. So they are designing various modules and with the different specifications. All those specifications we can observe that they are within that is the regulations given by the suitable authority. So now these are some of the specifications you can observe. So here we are considering various parameters. I'm taking some specifications like here you can see what is the attenuation rate, what is the dispersion rate, and what is the polarization technique and the range of the polarization, operating temperature, because whenever signal is being transmitted, it will be always having the power dissipation. Therefore, the measurement of power dissipation is being done in terms of temperature. Therefore, they are giving the limit for the temperature also. Next, we are taking attenuation, fiber attenuation, whenever we go for the wired communication, and geometrical characteristics whenever we go for the wireless communication. So now these are some of the regulations given by the BSNL, one of the governing authority. So next, this is regarding existing technologies with respect to power line communication system. Actually, I have got this data from the Texas Instruments because I have done some analysis in the Texas Instruments laboratory. Therefore, they have identified these as some of the recent technologies in the field of power line communication. The first one is the technique is being proposed in the year of 2017. That is been proposed by Himior. He says that means implementation of power line communication with the help of adaptive neurofuzzy interference system. That is one of the recent technology again that we can say. So if this technique is the one which mainly focus on the reduction of the impulsive noises. Okay, because whenever we consider additive white Gaussian noises, Racial noises, and all those things, so in all those type of channels, impulsive noises are very that is severe type of noises. Therefore, this technology is the one which mainly focus on the reduction of the impulsive noise. But one of the limitations that we can observe here is the very less number of parameters are being taken, which may not ensure the efficiency. That means since the parameter itself is the less, therefore the feasibility of the system will be less. So, but still we are making use of this technique. If you observe any analog and digital combination signal. Therefore, we can see adaptive neurophysiologic system. The second approach that is been proposed is in the year of 2018 by Fignol, in which again it's a very interesting technique which mainly focus on first and second order system, because most of the system that we use is a second order system. So this system is been implemented with the help of Markov models. So, and we know that Markov model is one of the application of past Fourier transformations, in which estimation of noise and the square mean error sequences analysis has been done, whereas analysis is been done only for a maximum of second order system. Okay, because whenever we speak about the power line communication is the one which will be having analog signal, digital signals along with the power signals. Okay, since we're having the power signal, the order of the system has been increased. Under such a case, we may not make use of Markov models. And one more drawback of this is Markov model is the one which always gives us to the infinite solution. Okay, whereas in power line communication system, the number of samples are always finite. Okay, therefore, this system suffers from some of the limitations. And the next two are again the next two is the one which mainly focus on the Gaussian distribution and impulsive peak. Therefore, again, so Gaussian distribution is basically hypothesis approach, and the next approach is the one which is mainly implemented in the time domain. Okay, therefore, even though all these systems are being implemented, therefore we can highlight some of the limitations. Whereas these implementations can be these limitations can be overcome by implementing a Fourier transformation method. So directly I go for the implementation of OFDM system, that is multiple input, multiple output MIMO system with the help of Fourier transformation. So now some of the challenges that have been involved is in the implementation is the statistical variation. Statistical variation in the sense, wavelet transformation is basically the mathematical modeling. So first we need to do the mathematical model. So we need to derive all the filter circuits. We need to compare with all the parameters. So basically, Fourier transformation is a mathematical model. So first we need to derive the mathematical model, then we need to design the hardware for that. Once we are ready with the mathematical model, then we can design the hardware. Okay, there may be a difference between the results that we have got from the mathematical model and the hardware. Okay, therefore, statistical variation is one of the challenges that is involved in the design of MIMO OFDM system with respect to wavelet transformation. Therefore, it's very difficult to get the 100% comparison between the mathematical model and the hardware. And next is regarding analysis of intercarrier interference, inter-symbol interference, and cost of the system. These are some of the challenges that are involved in the implementation of MIMO system with respect to Fourier transformation. But coming to the efficiency, therefore we can ensure very good efficiency with respect to the Fourier transformation. Therefore, hence, so in order to overcome the challenges, what are the different solutions? Fine. So once we implement the system, so once we implement the system with respect to a Fourier transformation, so we make use of turbo coders. That means division of a symbol into number of sub-channels and making them to pass through the high pass and the low pass filter. Which makes the system very simple and efficient also. So next is regarding wavelet application for power line communication. The first one is, so basically once we design the OFDM system with the power line communication system, we need to design the filter banks. Okay, so basically we need to go for two different types of filter banks. The first one is the synthesis filter bank and another one is the analysis